Pyeongwon refers to the endless plains far and wide. The progress line of Pyeongwon Poomsae that represents the human will to control the body and mind, to protect the peaceful plains from domination and pillage, is the character Il, which means one. We will now take a look at the key moves of Pyeongwon Poomsae. Pyeongwon Poomsae consists of 7 key moves, namely 겹손 준비 자세, 팔꿈치 올려치기, 고드로 얼굴 옆맞기, 당겨 등주먹 앞치기, 멍해치기, 해쳐 산틀맞기, and 모아서기. We will now take a closer look at each of the key moves of Pyeongwon Poomsae. 겹손 준비 자세 is a preparation posture in which both arms straighten from 모아서기. The left hand is placed over the back of the right hand in the shape of a cross. The hands should be slightly apart from the body in front of the lower abdomen, with the palm of the left hand placed over the back of the right hand in the shape of a cross. Prepare the fingertips of both hands together, and your fingers should not be spread apart. 팔꿈치 올려치기 is a technique to strike upward using the elbow. The basic target is an opponent's chin, but it can also be used to strike the solar plexus, chest, and other areas. When performing the move, make sufficient use of the twisting of your torso with your elbow close to your body. Raise your fist to reduce resistance from your muscles and maintain a sufficient range of movement. Be careful not to strengthen the arm to strike upward. 고드로 얼굴 옆맞기 starts with the 작은 돌적위 posture. The blocking arm should pass the face and the elbow and placed to your side level with your philtrum. Your elbow should straighten and be perpendicular to the ground. The assisting arm should be parallel to the ground at chest height, and the space between your body and arm should be about 1 raised fist length. The fist on the assisting arm should not move outside the body. The blocking arm should not tilt front, back, left, right. 당겨 등주먹 앞치기 is a technique to pull an opponent with one hand and strike their face in the philtrum or chin forward from the inside using the other back fist. It can also be used to attack other areas depending on the situation. The back fist is placed in front of the philtrum, and it should not be a strike from the outside in, like 매주먹 안치기. 멍해치기 is a technique used to attack both sides using the elbow by crossing your arms above and below in front of the chest. Your back fist must face upward, and the back of your 2 hammer fists should lightly touch your chest. Your arms must be parallel. When performing 멍해치기, be careful not to let your elbows move back and make sure your chest is not open. 해초 산틀막이 is a technique where your arms cross at the lower abdomen and move your sides horizontally in front of your face to perform 얼굴 해초막이 with your inner wrist. Your arms should be at the philtrum level and perpendicular to the ground. Be careful not to let the wrist bend, and the blocking arm must not tilt front, back, left, right. 모아서기 is a posture where the back of the foot blades are adjacent to each other, and the knees are straightened and aligned to the center line. Your eyes should be directed forward, and be careful not to let space exist between your feet. These are the 7 key moves of Pyeongwon Poomsae. We will now look at the moves in succession connecting each move. The key moves of Pyeongwon first part consist of 겹손 준비, 아래 해초막기, 통밀기, and 오른손날 아래막기. There are no cautions you should be aware of in Pyeongwon first part. We will now practice the moves of Pyeongwon first part in succession while watching the video. The key moves of Pyeongwon second part consist of 왼손날 바깥막기, 오른 팔꿈치 올려치기, 오른 앞차기, 왼풋 몸돌아 옆차기, 오른손날 고도로 막기, 오른손날 고도로 아래 막기, and 오른 안팔목 고도로 얼굴 옆 막기. When performing 왼손날 바깥막기, move your center to the right foot, and at the same time twist the heel backward and set your left foot a bit to the outside and perform 오른 뒷굽이 손날 바깥막기. When performing 오른 팔꿈치 올려치기, set your left foot forward about 1.5 steps, then perform 팔꿈치 올려치기. Your left ball should touch the ground first. Then finish the move along with a breath the moment your heel touches the ground. When performing 앞차기, the heel of the supporting foot should not twist inward excessively. If the foot is twisted excessively inward, the force is dispersed, weakens the force transferred forward, or results in loss of balance. When performing 몸돌아 옆차기, the right leg that kicked forward should pass the left foot slightly and set so the ball touches the ground. The heel of the foot that kicked forward should point in the direction of the kick. Next, move your center to the right leg to create a central axis. Pass the left foot over the right knee. Turn the upper body toward the direction of the kick, then perform 옆차기. 앞차기, followed by 몸돌아 옆차기, must connect naturally in a skillful manner. You may lose balance if the kicking foot moves too far away from the supporting foot. If the hips fall back, or the heel of the supporting foot fall back rather than point in the direction of the kick when performing 옆차기, the force transferred forward weakens, or the balance may be disrupted. Pay attention to the direction the heel of the supporting foot points toward. After performing 몸돌아 옆차기, bend your knee and raise the upper body at the same time to perform 손날 고도로 막기. Connect all the moves from 오른 앞차기 to 몸돌아 옆차기 and 손날 고도로 막기 without disconnect. When performing 오른 손날 고드러맞기, draw a big circle over your head with your arms, then perform 손날 고드러 아래맞기. When performing 오른 안팔목 고드러 얼굴 옆맞기, raise the right foot slightly from the 왼 뒷굽이 posture. Set it as parallel to the left foot on the ground, then block. Cautions for Pyeongwon second part. Taking a closer look. Move and set your left foot when performing 왼손날 바깥맞기. When transitioning from 뒷굽이 to 앞굽이 posture during 오른 팔굽 올려치기, be careful not to let your feet completely touch the ground at the same time. When performing 몸돌아 옆차기, be mindful that the move shouldn't halt. The foot performing the 옆차기 should not pass under the knee of the supporting leg. Do a folding kick. When performing 손날 고드러 아래맞기 during 손날 고드러맞기, the position of your head must not change. When performing 오른 안팔목 고드러 얼굴 옆맞기, the assisting fist should not move outside the body. Be careful not to let the blocking arm tilt. We will now practice the moves of Pyeongwon second part in succession while watching the video. The key moves of Pyeongwon third part consist of 당겨 등주먹 앞치기, 당겨 등주먹 앞치기, 멍해치기, 해쳐 산틀맞기, 금강맞기, 왼 작은 돌저귀, 오른 옆차기, 왼 팔꿈치 오려치기, 왼 앞차기, 오른풋 몸돌아 옆차기, 왼 손날 고드러 맞기, 왼 손날 고드러 아래 맞기, and 왼 안팔목 고드러 얼굴 옆 맞기. We will explain the 당겨 등주먹 앞치기 move first. First, open the right hand and naturally straighten the arm forward. Then pull the right fist along with the torso and move the right foot so it touches the left knee. This is a preparatory posture to dodge an opponent's attack of the lower body and repeat the jitjigi attack. All these moves must be performed simultaneously. Remember the moves explained previously. Perform the preparatory moves. When the preparatory move is complete, pull the right hand and connect with 등주먹 앞치기. Pull an opponent with the left hand. At the same time, perform jitjigi with the right foot and attack your opponent's face with the back of your right fist. Shout at this time and let your right elbow lightly touch the back of your left hand from above. When performing 당겨 등주먹 앞치기 with the left hand, pull the left hand back, lightly open the right fist forward, and at the same time, pull back. Strike an opponent's face with the back of your left fist. Do not perform jitjigi at this point. For 멍해치기, perform 고아서기 by crossing your left foot in front of your right foot. Cross your left arm over your right arm in front of your chest, then strike both sides with your elbows. Pull your right foot while performing 금강맞기. 작은 돌저귀 is a move connected to 금강맞기. Elevation of the stance should be maintained. Your eyes should point in the direction of progress. 오른 옆차기 is performed from 학다리 서기 while maintaining 작은 돌저귀. When performing 왼 팔꿈치 오려치기, complete the move the moment the right heel touches the ground. When performing 오른풋 몸돌아 옆차기, The left kicking foot passes the right foot slightly and set with the ball touching the ground. The heel of the kicking foot points in the direction of the kick. Move your center to the left foot and create a central axis. Move the right foot past the left knee. Turn your upper body in the direction of the kick, then perform 옆차기. 앞차기 and 몸돌아 옆차기 should be performed in succession. After 몸돌아 옆차기, fold the knee of the kicking leg while raising your upper body to connect to 손날 고드로 맞기. When performing 손날 고드로 아래 맞기, complete the move by drawing a big circle above your head with your arms. The 왼 고드로 얼굴 옆 맞기 is completed by raising the left foot slightly from the 오른 뒷굽이 and setting it parallel with the right foot. Cautions for Pyeongwon third part. Taking a closer look. When performing 당겨 등주먹 앞치기, the assisting knee should not bend. Be careful not to let it move outside like 매주먹 안치기. When performing 당겨 등주먹 앞치기 with the left hand, do not perform jitjiki and do not open your hand. Do not perform 금강맞기 slowly. When performing 작은 돌적위, pay attention to maintaining your balance. 앞차기 and 몸돌아 옆차기, 손날 고드로 몸통 맞기 should all be performed in succession. As already mentioned in Pyeongwon second part, the position of the head must not change when performing 손날 고드로 아래 맞기 during the 손날 고드로 맞기 move. When performing 안팔목 고드로 얼굴 옆 맞기, the fist of the assisting arm must move outside the body. The blocking arm should not tilt. We will now practice the moves of Pyeongwon third part in succession while watching the video. The key moves of Pyeongwon fourth part consist of 당겨 등주먹 앞치기, 당겨 등주먹 앞치기, 멍해치기, 해쳐 산들맞기, 금강맞기, 오른 작은 돌적위, 왼 옆차기, and 오른 팔꿈치 표적치기. As we did for the first move of Pyeongwon third part, we will first explain the preparatory move for the 당겨 등주먹 앞치기. Open your right hand and naturally straighten your arm. Pull your left fist back along the torso and slightly touch your right knee with your left foot. All these moves should be performed simultaneously. Let's now perform the preparatory move we previously explained independently. When performing 당겨 등주먹 앞치기, pull the left arm back. Lightly open the right fist, moving forward while striking the opponent's face with the left back fist. When performing 당겨 등주먹 앞치기 with the right hand afterwards, pull the right arm back and lightly open the left fist, moving forward while striking an opponent's face with the right back fist. Do not perform jitjiki at this time. For 멍해치기, perform 고아서기 by crossing your right foot in front of your left foot. Cross your right arm over the left in front of your chest, then strike both sides with your elbows. Pull the left foot and at the same time perform 금강맞기. 작은 돌적위 is a move connected to 금강맞기. Maintain your stance, and your eyes should point in the direction of progress. Then connect to wen 엽차기 while maintaining 작은 돌적이 in the hakda리 서기 posture. For the following move, open your left arm as if performing 매주목 바깥치기, and keep your arm and leg in a parallel alignment. When performing 오른 팔꿈치 펴적치기, twist your upper body about 45 degrees and strike the palm of your left hand with your right elbow. Your target should level with the solar plexus, and you should utilize the torque of your torso as much as possible. When performing 팔꿈치 펴적치기 at the torso level, it should take the form of a raised fist in order to minimize stress on muscles and tension in the shoulders, making it possible to strike fast and hard and making sufficient use of the upper body's range of movement. Cautions for Pyeongwon fourth part. Taking a closer look. When performing a preparatory move for 당겨 등중목 앞치기, do not bend the knee of the supporting leg. When performing 당겨 등중목 앞치기, do not perform 매주목 안치기 outside in. When performing 오른 당겨 앞치기, do not perform 매주목 안치기 outside in, and be careful not to open the hand. Do not perform jitjiki at this point. When performing 작은 돌적이, pay attention to maintaining your balance and quickly perform 금강맞기. When performing wen 엽차기, do not kick with the upper body below the back. Also, be careful not to let your hips fall backwards. When performing 오른 팔꿈치 펴적치기, excessive twisting of the back may cause you to lose balance. Concentrate on the moves so you do not perform 팔굽치기 on your fingers. We will now practice the moves of Pyeongwon fourth part in succession while watching the video. This concludes the training for Pyeongwon Poomsae. We will take another look at the moves and master Poomsae. We have looked at the key moves of Pyeongwon Poomsae and provided thorough explanations for each move and things to watch out for. I hope this was a good opportunity for a reminder of the far and wide plains and the spirit of struggle to protect the peaceful foundations of life. We will see you again in the Sipjin Poomsae video. Thanks for watching. The progress line of Sipjin Poomsae represents training, which expands infinitely like a number, and the hope for longevity like the 10 symbols of longevity. From Tao, it is the character Sip, meaning 10. We will now take a look at the key moves of Sipjin Poomsae. Sipjin Poomsae consists of 10 key moves, namely 황소막기, 손바닥god으로 바깥막기, 편손끝 엎어지르기, 바위 밀기, 손날 등 헤쳐막기, 끌어올리기, 잿다리 지르기, 변손 어꼬로 아래막기, 손날 등 god으로 막기, and god으로 등주먹 앞치기. We will now take a closer look at each of the key moves of Sipjin Poomsae. 황소막기 is a technique used to move the two outer wrists up to block simultaneously. Twist your wrist so that the back of the fist faces downward at the lower abdomen. Raise your fists up to your face, then snap your elbow to block upward. When blocking, the fist should be placed obliquely above the elbow. The space between the back of the wrist and forehead should be about one raised fist length. The distance between the fists should be the same. Close both your elbows and chest to stabilize the shoulders and shoulder blades. Keep the arms that performed 황소막기 firm. Close your chest and be mindful not to let your elbow open backwards. 손바닥god으로 바깥막기 is a technique used to perform 안팔목 바깥막기 by placing the whole palm of the other hand on the outer wrist. This technique is typically used to perform a strong block with assistance from one arm against a strong attack, then quickly connect to the next move. The tip of the middle finger of the opposite hand starts at the wrist of the blocking arm. Next, gather all your fingers and attach them to the outer wrist. Both elbows should face downward, and the armpits should be touching the body. The armpit of the assisting arm should not be away from the body. 편손끝 엎어지르기 is a technique to strike at an opponent's pressure points by gathering the four fingers straight with the palm facing downward. You can attack a pressure point with a strong force as the contact surface of the target becomes smaller when struck with your gathered four fingers. This move transfers a strong force. Be careful to keep the four fingers aligned to avoid injuries to the finger joints. Pay attention to keeping the fingers gathered to protect the joints, and be careful not to let the elbow open outside in order to perform 엎어지르기 accurately. 바위 밀기 is a technique where you open your hands and gather them at the back, twist back, then push in a straight line using your palms. Bend the wrists naturally and keep your thumb close to your hand. Your left arm is placed obliquely with a space of one handspan between the back of your hand and forehead. Your right hand is symmetrically placed slightly below your left hand with a one-fist space between. Opening the elbow weakens the shoulder, so exert force while you tighten the elbows and straighten the body. Perform this move slowly, exerting force on the lower abdomen with your eyes forward. The elbows should not open backwards. The torso must not tilt to one side, and the wrist and elbow should not be straight when the move is completed. 손날 등 헤쳐막기 is a technique used to block inside out by opening the two hands using the back of the hand blade. You can use the back of the hand blade to strike and block, absorb and block, and wind and grab an opponent's arm. Your elbow should face downward, and your armpit should lightly touch the body. The tip of your hand must not rise above your shoulder. Your armpit should not open due to your elbow rising or moving far away from the body. The back of your hand blade must go outside the shoulder line. Kuro origi is a technique used to block upward or brush aside an opponent's attack using the inner wrist. The arm performing kuro origi comes near the body from below. The wrist is then twisted so the inner wrist faces upward. Then the back of it is snapped to block. The arm is not the only part used to perform this move. The flexible movement of the arm and back must also be in harmony. The opposite arm is pulled to the back at the same speed and force. The upper body must be flexible, and the lower body must stand firm. The wrist should cross the center line, and the space between the torso and arm should be about one raised fist's length. Be careful not to let the arm performing kuro origi pass the waist and fall back, then pull up. Chitdari jirigi is a technique used to thrust forward with the two fists using the torque of the torso from Tagen Doljokui. Maintain a space of about 2 fists length between the fists and thrust at the solar plexus level. Your arm should be parallel. The fist in the back should be placed on the wrist of the other arm in apgubi and placed on the elbow of 뒷구비. The elevation of the two arms must be identical, and the fists should not be placed apart too wide or narrow, maintaining a space of about 2 fists length between them. Pyeongwon okuro aremaki is a technique to block above or below by opening the hand and crossing the wrists. The main reason for opening the hands is to deter an opponent's attack early and connecting to japki. Tighten your elbows and lightly attach your armpits on your body. Sonnadung godoromaki is a technique used mainly to grab an opponent and connect to another move, or to absorb and block. Perform bakanmaki with a hand blade with the palm of the blocking hand facing upward and make the back of the assisting hand face upward so the wrist and center line cross. Remember that the back of the assisting hand, not the palm, should face upward. The space between the assisting arm and torso should be about 1 hand length. Godoro 뚱주먹 앞치기. Make a fist with the assisting arm. Bend the arm and place it behind the ear level. The fist performing 뚱주먹 앞치기 should be placed so the arm is parallel to the opposite side of the chest, and the 앞치기 is performed with both arms moving forward along with the spin of the torso. The fist should be at the philtrum level during 뚱주먹 앞치기. The assisting hand should be at the solar plexus level with the back of the fist facing downward and the arm horizontal. These are the 10 key moves of Sipjin Poomsae. We will now look at the moves in succession, connecting each move. The key moves of Sipjin first part consist of 황소막기, 손바닥 걷으러 왼 안팔목 바깥막기, 오른 편손끝 엎어지르기, and double 지르기, 해초 산들막기, 오른 옆지르기, and 멍해치기. 손바닥 걷으러 오른 안팔목 바깥막기, 왼편 손끝 엎어지르기, and double 지르기, 해초 산들막기, 왼 옆지르기, and 멍해치기. Before performing 손바닥 godoro wen 안팔목 바깥막기, spread the two fists that performed hwansolmak기 about a face length apart. Then pause for a while and connect to 손바닥 godoro wen 안팔목 바깥막기. We will take a look at the 오른 편손끝 엎어지르기 and double jirugi moves in succession. Open your left fist and twist inward. Then transition from 오른 뒷구비 to wen 앞구비. Connect the double jirugi following the 오른 편손끝 엎어지르기. We will now look at each move separately. Exert force on the hand, making a fist. Then slowly open the four fingers. Bend your wrist inward when all fingers are open. With force still exerted on the right hand, move it to the back of your hand when the left wrist is completely twisted. Brush the right palm on the back of the left hand to perform jirugi. This is how the upper body should move during this time. Your right foot remains in place, and your left foot transitions to 앞구비 while performing 편손끝 엎어지르기. Next, quickly connect from 편손끝 엎어지르기 to double jirugi. Remember that the spin of the left hand and the opening of the fist, the moving of the right hand over the back of the left hand, must occur simultaneously while breathing. When performing 해초 산털막기, set your right foot forward. When performing 오른 옆지르기, move your left foot and assume the front 고아서기 posture. Set your right foot forward to assume the 주춤서기 posture. Then complete the 옆지르기 by pulling an opponent as if to cover and pull them downward with the left hand while shouting. When performing 멍해치기, turn and set your right foot inward 180 degrees. Cross your arms so your right arm faces upward and the left arm faces downward. Then strike both sides. When performing 손바닥 godoro 오른 안팔목 바깥막기, move your left foot close to the right foot. Set your right foot. Then perform wen 뒷구비 손바닥 godoro 오른 안팔목 바깥막기. Maintain the same posture level when gathering your feet. Open your right fist and twist inward when connecting wen 편손끝 엎어지르기 and double jirugi in succession. Transition from wen 뒷구비 to 오른 앞구비. Then quickly connect to double jirugi after wen 편손끝 엎어지르기. When performing 해초 산털막기 this time, set your left foot to perform the move. When performing wen 옆지르기, move your right foot and assume the front 고아서기 posture. Pull an opponent as if to cover and pull them downward with the right hand. Then complete the 옆지르기 by setting your left foot and shouting. Then perform 멍해치기 by turning and setting your right foot inward 180 degrees and crossing your arms with the left arm above and the right arm below. Cautions for Sipjin first part. Taking a closer look. When performing wen 손바닥 godoro 안팔목 바깥막기, the armpit of the assisting arm should not move away from the body. When performing 해초 산털막기, your eyes should not be directed forward. When moving your foot to assume the front 고아서기 posture during 옆지르기, your height must not change. When performing 멍해치기, the elbow must not swerve above or below, and the elbows must not move back. Your chest must be closed. When performing 손바닥 godoro 안팔목 바깥막기, be careful not to let the armpit of the assisting arm move away from the body, and maintain a posture so your height does not change when you gather your feet. When connecting 편손끝 엎어지르기 and double jirugi, be mindful of the synchronization of all moves and breathing. When changing posture from front 고아서기 during 옆지르기, your elevation must not change. We will now practice the moves of Sipjin first part in succession while watching the video. The key moves of Sipjin's second part consist of 손바닥 godoro 오른 안팔목 바깥막기, 왼편 손끝 엎어지르기, and double jirugi, 왼손아 godoro 아래막기, 바위 밀기. 손날 등 헤쳐막기, 손날 아래 헤쳐막기, 아래 헤쳐막기. and 끌어올리기. When performing 손바닥 godoro 오른 안팔목 바깥막기, turn 90 degrees and set with your right foot as the axis. And perform 손바닥 godoro 오른 안팔목 바깥막기. Use the left ball of your foot as an axis when turning back and setting. When connecting 왼편 손끝 엎어지르기 and double jirugi, open your right fist and twist inward. Then transition from 왼 뒷굽이 to 오른 앞굽이. Perform 왼편 손끝 엎어지르기 when the fist is completely open. Then connect to double jirugi. When performing 왼손아 godoro 아래막기, set your left foot and perform 왼 뒷굽이 왼손아 godoro 아래막기. When performing 바위 밀기, move your right foot and place your arms on the right side of your back. Gather your palms at the back. Exert force on the lower abdomen and slowly push forward. At the end, your hand should elevate to your forehead, and your forehead should be visible between your hands. 손날 등 헤쳐막기 is performed by crossing the right arm outside the left arm in front of the chest, then moving and setting the right foot. Slowly connect with 손날 아래 헤쳐막기 after performing 손날 등 헤쳐막기. Cross the left arm outside the right arm in front of the chest from the 손날 등 헤쳐막기 posture. Then slowly perform 아래 헤쳐막기. When completing the 손날 아래 헤쳐막기, slowly clench both fists and direct your eyes forward. When performing 아래 헤쳐막기, slowly rise, extending both knees when both fists are almost clenched. Breathing and moves should coincide while keeping your eyes directed forward. Cautions for Sipjin second part. Taking a closer look. When performing 왼손아 godoro 아래막기, be careful not to let the blocking left arm move outside the left leg. When 바위 밀기 is completed, the wrist and elbow should not be straight, and both elbows must not open backwards. The torso must not swerve in one direction. When performing 손날 등 헤쳐막기, be careful not to let the back of the hand blade move outside the shoulder line. When performing 손날 아래 헤쳐막기, be mindful of your breathing and the moves while staring forward. When performing 끌어올리기, the arm must not be pulled behind past the waist, then it is raised. We will now practice the moves of Sipjin second part in succession while watching the video. The key moves of Sipjin third part consist of 바위 밀기, 오른 앞차기, 쳇다리 지르기, 왼 앞차기, 쳇다리 지르기, 오른 앞차기, and 오른 등주먹 꼬들어 앞치기. When performing 오른 앞차기, hold both hands and pull to the left from the 바위밀기 posture. Then perform 앞차기 along with 작은 돌저귀. 앞차기 and 당겨 작은 돌저귀 must be performed simultaneously, and both arms being pulled along with the kicking foot must be harmonious in force and speed. When performing 오른 쳇다리 지르기, complete the move by twisting the back the moment the right heel touches the ground from the left back. When performing 오른 등주먹 꼬들어 앞치기, the foot that performed 오른 앞차기 must move forward more than one step and perform jitjiki. Next, assume the 오른 뒷고아서기 posture. You must shout while this is done. Cautions for Sipjin third part. Taking a closer look. When performing 앞차기, be careful not to pull both fists for 작은 돌저귀 and then kick. Both arms should be raised to the same elevation for 쳇다리 지르기, and the space between the fists should not be too wide nor narrow. When performing 등주먹 꼬들어 앞치기, the back of the hand of the assisting arm should not face upward. We will now practice the moves of Sipjin third part in succession while watching the video. The key moves of Sipjin fourth part consist of 바위 밀기, 편손 어깨로 아래 맞기, 손날 등 고드로 맞기, 쳇다리 지르기, and 쳇다리 지르기. When performing 편손 어깨로 아래 맞기, assume the 왼 범서기 posture while pulling the left foot. Both hands start at the right waist, then cross the right arm over the left arm. Cautions for Sipjin fourth part. Taking a closer look. When performing 편손 어깨로 아래 맞기, be careful not to let the elbow open. When performing 손날 등 고드로 맞기, the palm of the assisting hand should not face upward. We will now practice the moves of Sipjin fourth part in succession while watching the video. This concludes the training for Sipjin Poomsae. We will take another look at all the moves and master Poomsae. We have looked at the key moves of Sipjin Poomsae and provided thorough explanations for each move and things to watch out for. From 10 to 100, from 100 to 1,000. While training, remind yourself of the spirit of Sipjin that expands to eternity. We will see you again in the Jitae Poomsae video. Thanks for watching. The progress line of Jitae Poomsae that represents the initiate that stands firmly on land to train Taekwondo is the Korean vowel O. We will now take a look at the key moves of Jitae Poomsae. Jitae Poomsae consists of 3 moves, namely 손날 얼굴막이, 금강 지르기, and 매주목 옆 표적지기, 안팔목 바깥막기. We will now take a closer look at each of the key moves of Jitae Poomsae. 손날 얼굴막이 is, as the name suggests, a technique to block the face upwards with both arms. Cross the arms so the blocking arm is outside to block the face. The hand of the blocking arm rises first. Raise the hand first at face elevation and snap the elbow upward to block. Pull the opposite fist to the back and cross the hand blade with the center line. The space between the blocking arm and forehead should be about 1 fist. Tilt the arm so that the fist faces upward and the elbow faces downward. Be careful not to let the elbow of the blocking arm open backwards, as this will weaken the arm. The elbow must not raise first to block. Be careful not to let the blocking arm rise above the head. 금강 지르기 is a technique to block and attack simultaneously with 얼굴막이 and 지르기. 매주목 옆 표적지기 is a technique to strike the target at the side of the body at philtrum elevation with the hammer fist while spinning the torso. The elbow of the part striking the target must face downward. The hammer fist must not spin and strike the target like 안맞기. 안팔목 바깥맞기 is a technique used to perform 바깥맞기 with the 안팔목. Cross both arms in front of the chest and block inside out. These are the 4 key moves of Jitae Poomsae. We will now look at the moves in succession, connecting each move. The key moves of Jitae first part consist of 왼 안팔목 바깥맞기, 오른 얼굴맞기, and 왼 지르기, 오른 안팔목 바깥맞기. 왼 얼굴막이 and 오른 지르기. 왼 아래막이, 왼 손날 얼굴막이, 오른 앞차기, and 오른 손날 고드로 아래막이. Slowly block the face by raising the fist diagonally from the right back. Then slowly perform 왼 지르기. The arm that blocked the face should move as if you're pulling an opponent. Achieve balance in the speed and force of the pulling arm and the thrusting arm. Lower the elbow of the arm that blocked the face and slowly cross the middle with the fist that performed the thrust, exerting force in the lower abdomen. All moves and breathing must coincide during this process. When performing 오른 안팔목 바깥막기 in the previous move, push off the ground with the right foot from the 오른 앞구비 posture and move your center to the left foot. Create a central axis on the left, turn right using the left ball as an axis, then perform 왼 뒷구비 안팔목 바깥막기. When performing 왼 손날 얼굴막기, move your center back and assume the 손날 얼굴막기 posture. Bend the foot that performed 앞차기 and connect to 손날 고드로막기. Cautions for Jitae first part. Taking a closer look. When connecting 얼굴막기 and 지르기, the thrusting arm should not move excessively forward. Be careful not to let the stride become too long when setting your foot with 앞구비. During 오른 안팔목 바깥막기, do not move your center forward and back. Then perform a 180-degree 돌아딛기. The direction of the elbows should not move forward. When connecting 앞차기 and 손날 고드로막기, the foot performing 앞차기 must not raise above the head. We will now practice the moves of Jitae first part in succession while watching the video. The key moves of Jitae's second part consist of 오른 바깥막기, 왼 앞차기, and 왼 손날 고드로 아래막기, 왼 얼굴막기. 오른 금강 앞지르기, 왼 안막기, and 오른 고드로 안막기, 왼 손날 아래막기, and 오른 앞차기, and double 지르기. Perform 바깥막기 slowly, exerting force on the lower abdomen. Then block by crossing your left wrist and right wrist in front of your chest. The lower body must stand firm when performing the move. When performing 금강 앞지르기, raise the left arm that blocked the face to chest elevation. Then quickly block the face upward again and connect with 앞지르기 at the same time. Perform 몸통 안막기 with the left arm that performed 얼굴막기. Pull the other fist back. Then successfully pull the left arm and perform 오른 고드로 안막기. The left fist should be placed next to the right elbow. Connect the two moves quickly and pay attention to your breathing. Pull and set your right foot back and perform 왼 손날 아래막기. When pulling and setting the foot, make sure to move the central axis along with the right foot. After performing 오른 앞차기, bend and withdraw the knee. Then complete 오른 지르기 when the heel of the right foot touches the ground. Then, quickly connect to wen-jitagi. Cautions for Jitae second part. Taking a closer look. When performing bakkatmaki, execute slowly and do not exert force. When performing gumgang apjirigi, the arm blocking the face should not move excessively below the chest. It is important to connect anmaki and godoro anmaki naturally. After performing oren apjagi, do not connect to oren when double jirigi, after the entire right foot touches the ground. The double jirigi must follow after the right heel touches the ground. We will now practice the moves of Jitae second part in succession while watching the video. The key moves of Jitae third part consist of hwangsomaki, 왼 팔목 아래 옆막기, 오른 손날 옆막기, 왼 매주목 표적치기, 학다리 아래 옆막기, 작은 돌적기, 오른 옆차기 and 왼 아래 옆막기, 작은 돌적기, wen 옆차기 and oren jirigi. And oren jirigi. When performing wen palmok are 옆막기, your eyes should point in the direction of the blocking arm. When performing wen 매주목 표적치기, create a target by raising the right arm that performed 손날 옆막기 to philtrum elevation. Then, twist your torso to the right and perform 매주목 표적치기 with a shout. Bend your arm so that the target and your elbow turn facing each other. Then perform 매주목 표적치기 on the palm of your right hand. When performing 학다리 아래 옆막기, pull your right foot to your left knee and perform 아래 옆막기 at the same time. Assume the 작은 돌적기 posture by pulling only the fist to the left waist without change in elevation. When performing 오른 옆차기 and 왼 아래 옆막기, quickly pull the left foot to the right knee the moment the right foot performs jitjigi on the ground. Quickly change the direction of the eyes, then block. Cautions for Jitae third part. Taking a closer look. When performing 왼 팔목 아래 옆막기, your eyes should not be directed forward. Your eyes should not be directed forward during 손날 옆막기 either. 왼 매주목 표적치기 should not be performed like 안막기 with the hammer fist spinning. When assuming the 작은 돌적기 posture, the left knee must not straighten. When performing 오른 옆차기 and 왼 아래 옆막기, do not switch feet while jumping or pull the left foot with the right foot set. We will now practice the moves of Jitae third part in succession while watching the video. The key moves of Jitae fourth part consist of 왼 손날 godoro 아래 막기, 오른 손날 godoro 막기, 오른 손날 godoro 아래 막기, and 왼 손날 godoro 막기. When connecting Sonna Godoro Aremaki and Sonna Godoro Maki, set your foot from Duikubi to Duikubi or perform Doradikki. The central axis and the foot must spin simultaneously. The same elevation must be maintained at a constant level. Cautions for Jitae fourth part. Taking a closer look. When connecting two moves, do not spin your central axis after moving your foot. The trajectory of the foot should not draw an arc when performing Doradikki. We will now practice the moves of Jitae fourth part in succession while watching the video. This concludes the training for Jitae Poomsae. We will take another look at all the moves and master Poomsae. We have looked at the key moves of Jitae Poomsae and provided thorough explanations for each move and things to watch out for. Man set his foot on land, the sanctuary of life. Continue with your training, always keeping in mind the meaning of Jitae, the spirit of the will to live, and the land which is our sanctuary. We will see you again in the Pyeongwon Poomsae video. Thanks for watching.